So as we ask you, Ninko, to recall your most vivid Super Bowl memory, it has to be from one of those two Super Bowls that you won, I would assume.
Actually, no. It was the Super Bowl loss, 2011, when we lost to the Giants. And I'm surprised I remember it because Brandon Jacobs basically chipped my head off early in that game. And I just remember back to a point in that game. I was on a knee. Offense had the ball. I think there was around 7 minutes left in the game, and we were up. And the offense was marching down the field. And I remember looking up at the clock and thinking to myself, man, we're going to do this thing. I'm going to be a Super Bowl champion. This was going to be my first championship. And I made the mistake of looking beyond the moment. And at that point, the offense stalled. They didn't score. We had to give the ball back. And then the rest is history. The Giants took the ball, Manningham with that crazy catch on the sideline. And then at the end of that series, as a defender, one play you never want to ever hear is let them score, because you know at that point you're trying to save as much time as you can to let the offense go to work. And we had to make that call. And Bradshaw almost, he was trying to stop, and then he went over the goal line there. And I mean, that memory right there is forever in my brain. And that really pushed me to get back to another one. And not everybody has that opportunity to get back to a Super Bowl. But I think at the end of the day, you remember the losses more than the wins. And yeah, the win, the Malcolm interception, that was great. That was awesome. But when you lose a Super Bowl, I'm telling you, there's not a worse feeling in the world to walk off a field and the other team is running on, celebrating their world champs, and you're seeing the confetti come down, and you're going home, and you have nothing to show for it except for an AFC championship ring, which really doesn't mean anything. I don't even know where that thing's at. I might have given that thing to my pops or something. You only think about winning that football game. When you lose it, it's forever in your brain.
It is remarkable, and practically every athlete I've ever talked to remembers the heartbreaking defeats more than they remember the victories. Herman Edwards has told me a million times he hates confetti to this day for the same reason you just described. He was on the Eagles. They lost a Super Bowl. Do you think it would have been different if you hadn't come back and won those? Again, you were on the field for the Malcolm Butler interception. You were on the team for the 28-3 comeback against Atlanta. How do you think it would be different if you would never come back and won Super Bowls?
I mean, look, I think about the Buffalo Bills and the four, they had the documentary on the losses that they had in the 90s. And I personally couldn't imagine. I could have easily been 0-3. You think about, those two wins that we had, Malcolm interception, there could have been a few different outcomes there. They run the football, they do something else and they score there. We basically lose that game. And then the comeback against the Falcons, if we didn't have that sack fumble by the guy behind me, Hightower, we wouldn't have been able to get back in that football game. And if they would have kicked the field goal, we lose. So I think back on that, and I'm grateful for us coming back in those games and winning those football games. But you remember the losses definitely more than the victories.
It's amazing. It is amazing, but it seems to be a universal theme among pretty much every athlete I've ever covered. Thanks for those recollections, Rob Ninkovich. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.